Now, if you like any business owner, anybody that's out there putting themselves out there, you have at some point had somebody tell you what they think about you, your content, your business offerings. And that's all well and good. People are allowed to have their opinions. They're allowed to give feedback and things. What we're going to talk about today in this basics video is we're going to talk about receiving feedback, all right? Because it's going to happen more than we want. It's going to happen on a regular basis. And there are ways to take the feedback. There are ways to deal with it. There are ways to not let it eat you up and really kind of tear you up. So let's do a quick opening, let you know where we're at, what we're doing, and then we'll get back to talking about getting some feedback. Hey there, welcome back. I'm E.H. Howard, and this is a basics video on receiving feedback. And as I mentioned at the top, if you've been alive for 5 minutes, you've had some sort of feedback from somebody. You know, I don't like the way you dress. I don't like your hair. Your paper's stupid. I don't like your tacos. Whatever it is, we as business owners, I feel like we get it a lot more often than most people do. You know, if you're for a big business, you're probably going to be insulated. Unless you're in the marketing department, you're going to be insulated from most of that kind of feedback. But as a self-employed small home business owner, we're the front gate, we're the back gate, we're the top, we're everything. So it all comes to us. And as I mentioned, if you've been alive, you've at some point received feedback. You've gotten somebody to give their opinion about something that you've done or doing, or, you know, I don't need to explain feedback to y'all. Now, in my mind, one of the things is being creative. Being a creative person is, most of my life has been getting feedback from people. Also giving feedback to people. So I feel like as a creative, I'm probably in a pretty good situation to talk about this. One of there's two types of feedback that we need to consider. Two types of feedback that will occur. There is unsolicited feedback, which is mostly from consumers. Unless you've asked them point blank something, it's unsolicited. Hey, what did you think of the meal I made for you? What did you think of the product that I sold to you? What do you think of? Unless you're basically asking them, it's unsolicited. Which is the opposite of that. Asking them is, of course, solicited. You've asked somebody for their feedback. You're interested in their opinion. You're interested in what they have to say. And the difference between the two, I mean, obviously, you've asked for one, you haven't asked for another. That's one of the main obvious ones. But I find 9 times out of 10, and there's the rare exception, but 9 times out of 10, the unsolicited feedback comes from somebody that doesn't know you, hasn't met you. I'm not going to say that they have an axe to grind, but they sometimes, 9 times out of 10, have an axe to grind. You don't know them, you've never met them, possibly. I find like our regular consumers, like it's really hard to get them to give you any sort of feedback. Your casual consumer, your super fans, and if they do give you feedback, it's like, oh, that was really nice, I really like that. Not really helping you any. The feedback you're going to get from the problem child consumer is basically just crap. Don't listen to it. So that's the two the kind of things that we're dealing with. We've got solicited and unsolicited, people that we know and people we don't know. All right, and they typically kind of silo. You're not going to ask. You may ask a stranger for their opinion on your business, but they don't have any experience with it. That's not valid criticism. So let's start with just the 3 basic things that any kind of processing of feedback needs to happen. Okay, so you have 3 choices. No matter whatever methodology you're getting the feedback, you have some ways of processing. Okay, and we know how we're getting it, but now we're going to talk about what we do with it internally. You have 3 choices. Okay, the first one is just ignore it. Tell them to fuck off. It's none of your business. You don't know anything. I don't know you. Why should I listen to you? You can take some of it, some of it might be great, some of it might be crappy. You know what? I agree with that one thing you said, because I had kind of been thinking about that in the back of my head, and I thought that might be a problem. But if you're seeing it, then I know it's a problem. So I'm going to definitely fix that. But the rest of the stuff, I don't agree with that at all. So you accept what you agree with, you disregard what you don't agree with. And then finally, it's to take it all in. Everything that this person says, I'm going to implement every single change that they're asking for. All right? Now, let's start with that one and go back. Now, the problem with that is, and the problem with almost all of these, if we're being honest, is that it is one person's personal opinion. Now, if you ask 10 people and all 10 consumers, 10 people in your focus group say, I don't really think that color blue looks good in your logo. Maybe think about, if more than one person is telling you something, then it's probably valid critique, probably valid criticism. I would say consider implementing it, all right? If it's just one person, then you kind of have to sit down and assess things and say, is this somebody that I know? Is it somebody that I don't know? Is it a complete and total stranger? If it's somebody that you do know, is it somebody that you respect, their opinion? If they gave you their opinion, is it somebody you respect? So if a leader in your industry says something to you and you really respect them, you think that they're like, the best thing since sliced bread, you're going to listen to that feedback because that's somebody you respect, you appreciate. Their word has meaning to you. It has value. Same thing when you ask somebody that you're trusting them, you know that they're not going to come right out and like be brutal. They have your best interest in mind. So take that feedback then. All right. So where it's coming from is consider the source, is what I'm really saying. All right. Consider the source. So, and that also leads us into, why are they telling you this? And I typically find for unsolicited, and let's really focus on unsolicited for a minute, because that's the one that we usually always have a problem with. When we ask somebody for our opinion and we get it, we're usually okay with that. We're pretty good at it, because, well, I can't be mad that I asked you your opinion and then you gave me the opinion, and now I'm mad that, it might not be what we want to hear. It might not be, it might not make us feel best because we've heard something that, okay, yeah, I thought that was what was going on, but now I've really got evidence of it. But really I'm talking about the unsolicited one, because that's the one that really ticks people off, okay? Now, aside to this too is, if it's on social media, it could be a bot, so beware of that. There's some videos on social media that you can watch that help you figure out bots and all that kind of stuff. But typically people on social media, they're just being assholes to be honest. And they've never interacted with your business. They don't even know. They're just going through and leaving, whatever, having lulls or whatever it is. So immediately, 9 times out of 10, if it comes from an unsolicited source, I just assume it's somebody with an axe to grind. They're pissed off about something, whatever. If it comes from somebody on social media that I know and I respect, then, again. But overall, you got to consider the source. Like, why is this person coming to me unsolicited? I didn't ask them for their opinion. What do they think they're going to gain? I've never met them. They want me to change every aspect of my business. Do they honestly think, other than like just being annoying, I'm going to be like, you know what? I don't know Pat from Denver, but you know what? Pat from Denver makes a really good point. I should just give up my entire business and restart everything from the bottom, because then maybe Pat from Denver will buy something. The only people that you need to care about their opinions and their feedback are your current consumers, okay? If they come to you with an unsolicited feedback and are like, you know what? I've been buying your stuff for years, and I've just, like, the last 2 orders, the quality really hasn't been there. I've been working with you for years, and I just feel like something's not right suddenly. Whatever it is, if they come to you and they say to you, unsolicited or solicited, if your casual consumer, your super fan, comes and says something, you need to listen to them. And in those cases, I would say skew a little heavier to, if 2 or 3 of these people are saying something, if they're coming to you and saying something, then you need to think about getting rid of all of that and changing it and making it work. Because it's not, we say we own the businesses, we pretend we're business owners. Well, we don't pretend we're business, but you know what, we're business owners, we can do whatever we want. Well, we can, but it's for them, and if they don't like it, if they don't want it, then we can stand up here on our high horse and our throne all day, but they're the ones that are going to have to buy it. So that is your goal, to make sure that those consumers, they are happy with your products, they are satisfied with their products, that they are working in the ways that speak to them and work with and engage them and get them excited to purchase more. All right, that's your only goal. After that, if anybody else gives you feedback, it's up to you what you do with it. And 9 times out of 10, I just toss it in the trash. So, all right, in the next video, we're going to talk about giving feedback, because that's a whole separate thing. Because sometimes when you're working with a partner, you may have to give some feedback. Other than that, this has been one of the basics videos. There's a ton of basics videos, basics.ehhoward.com. You can start to really understand some of the core foundational principles that drive all the other things that I'm doing and working with in my content. Follow me on social media. Other than that, I can't think of anything else except